Hola, guapas. How are you today? I have something that I want to talk about, but first I want to tell you a story. As I try to make my life as simple as possible, I like to get rid of stuff, like just let stuff go. And one of the easiest ways to do that, of course, is to give it away on Facebook Marketplace. Now, it is not always a fun task to find somebody to take something for free because you get a ton of people and you get all kinds of people wanting that thing, whatever it is. And it just so happened that I was getting rid of a bike because the rear rail, the rear something, I don't even, derailleur, the rear derailleur was broken and my son wasn't going to use it anymore. And I have my own bike. So it's just taking up space. I'm like, I'm going to get rid of it, but I like to give it away for free because it's a great bike and somebody can fix it. And then it just, I don't know, makes the world go round. Makes me feel good to share stuff, to reuse stuff, to, not be a consumer all the time. So I try to do my part as much as I can. So I posted, my neighbor who's a bike freak is like, oh, you could take it to the shop and maybe they'll refurbish it and give it away to somebody. But it's in North Van. I'm like, no, I'm going to post it on Marketplace because I'm sure, even though the derailleur is broken, the bike is great. And I'm sure at least one person can fix it and use it. So I posted it on Facebook as is. Here's the problem, sent the pictures. And then all of a sudden, like a plethora of people were replying and responding, being like, bike, I want the bike. Tell me when to pick up the bike. And the good thing about Craigslist or Marketplace is that they'll come and pick it up. So it's like super duper easy, but you got to wade through all of these people. Like you get overwhelmed, especially when you're posting something for free. And so I was trying to think, oh, how could I find like the best person for this bike? And I don't even know, it's all relative. Like, how do I decide who is the best person to get this bike? But a lot of people, and this is just, for future reference, if you're buying something off Marketplace, a lot of people will just hit the like, hey, is it still available? And every once in a while, somebody will type something like a personal note. And that's what caught my attention is somebody had typed a note saying, hey, Heather, is this bike available? Because I'm teaching my son how to ride his bike and he's getting really fast and I can't keep up with him by running anymore. So I need my own bike. I'm like, oh, so obviously he got my attention because he personalized the message and it's a great story. I'm like, who doesn't want to, help some dad teach their kid how to ride a bike? This is a great story and it'd be like so awesome if he could have this bike. And so we set up the details and he's like, yep, I'll come and pick it up tomorrow. Awesome. And then of course you never really know what's going to happen until the person actually picks it up because you just don't know these people. And a lot of times they're flaky. But wouldn't you know it that as soon as the guy got out of his car, he had a bottle of wine in his hand. Like, I picked the right guy. Not because like I wanted wine because I don't drink wine, but the fact that he came with a gift because he was so appreciative of me giving him the bike for free, and that he was also doing an act of kindness or a really nice gesture in return. And I was so touched because I've given away a lot of stuff on Marketplace like we all have, and it's nobody ever does that. And so I was so touched. And he was like, I think I could fix this. And it was just such a wonderful experience. And I was not expecting it at all. And I wanted to share that because sometimes the world can seem like a bad place and everything can seem like it's on fire. But you'll always find what you're looking for. And that reminded me that there's good in everything and the world is a good place and people are good. And I want to look for that more because it's so easy these days just to have that confirmation bias, like the world's a scary place and people are bad. And then you just see it wherever you are because that's what your brain is expecting to see. So you're kind of creating that world for yourself. And so I wanted to share this story because it's a good story. It's a good story of, hope and inspiration and just like kindness and community and connection, just all of it. And so I hope that that inspires you. Okay, here's what I really wanted to talk about. In the last episode, I talked about this book that changed my life, that made me go carnivore from plant-based for like 30 plus years and doing all the different kinds of plant-based, like raw and then plant-based and vegan. And like, I tried all the things because I love to experiment with my body. I find that what I do know to be true is that we are all different and unique. And what works for one person might not work for another person, and that's okay. So my goal isn't to sit here and preach and tell you what you should do. My goal, I feel like my mission in life is just to be like, what works for me? What problem am I trying to solve? What am I working on? And then if it works, I share it with people. And then other people who might be working on the same thing can try it, have a go, and see if it works for them. So it's really important to me that I'm sharing and not preaching and saying that you should do this. But having said that, the last book that I shared was Fiat Foods. And this is like a game changer because like I said, I believe everything that this book is saying, and this just goes into even more detail. And every time I read another page, I got angrier and angrier. I'm like, this is so corrupt, the whole system. So my philosophy is, what am I working on and what works best for me? And how can it be most in alignment with nature, the laws of nature? Because I believe that that is the pattern, that's the system, that's what works. And when you're trying to figure something out, you want to stop, take a beat, and just say, like, how would nature solve for this? What does nature do when this happens? And then quite often you'll find your answer there. So in my quest to reduce inflammation in my body, I read this book, which took me back to being a carnivore, like full-on carnivore, really, really strict. And it led me to this other book that I read, which is based on midlife and menopause, because as somebody who loves to try to just gracefully slide through menopause, if I find something that works, I share it with you because I know that everybody's going through the same thing. How do I know this? From conversations, from the conversations that nobody wanted to have before, and now everybody's talking about, which is what's going on with our bodies and where is this weight gain coming from, and why am I having hot flashes and all this stuff. And when I delve into it and I think about menopause from a place of nature, I'm like, our body is designed to do this. So it shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be tough. There shouldn't be all of these crazy symptoms that most people are experiencing. And so why are we experiencing this? Because when we look at the cycle of a woman's life, we've gone through this before. Our body's designed to go through it. When we go through puberty, we start out one person, we go through puberty, which is a hormonal change. And then at the other side of it, our body is physically different. We are a different person. We're just so different because of the hormonal change. And that's what our body's designed to do. Same thing with pregnancy. We go through pregnancy, our hormones change, and then after the end of it, our hormones change quite a few times, like going into pregnancy, during pregnancy, and then after when breastfeeding, and then again when you're done breastfeeding. Those are all hormonal changes. And you have a different body and you're a different person out the other side of that huge hormonal change. And we want to apply that same philosophy to menopause, which is our body is designed to do this. And all it's doing is going from a place of being in our reproductive years to not being in our reproductive years anymore. That's the change, is like, okay, our body is done reproducing. And now we do other things. And what we're designed to do, when you look at the grandma theory, is we're designed to help our offspring raise their children. Because back in the day, when the woman is out trying to find food and that, the grandma is teaching the kids how to break the food. Like maybe there's something that's really difficult that they can't do. So the grandma helps them do that. And that keeps her healthy for a longer period of time. That enhances her longevity and her healthy lifespan. So that's what we're designed to do, is take our wisdom and share it with the next generation and help with the next generation. But our body is designed to do this. And the interesting thing is, so many people talk about estrogen, estrogen, estrogen. And I'm not an expert, but I just read books and I follow people who are experts and I let them do the hard work. And then I just take all of their stuff and be like, wow, that makes sense. And when you look at the change in estrogen from being in the part of your life where your reproductive years to not, the estrogen that changes is the estrogen in your reproductive parts. That lowers. But the other estrogen in the other part stays the same. So it's not a lack of estrogen that's causing these problems, because our body is supposed to drop in estrogen. It's designed to do that. But where the problem comes in is not in Mother Nature's design, because we know that our bodies are just so brilliant, and we haven't even scratched the surface on how amazing our bodies are and why they do what they do. But I do know this for sure. If we can keep our body as close to natural nature as possible, it will be way easier going through menopause. My menopause experience was not horrible because of me trying to stick as close to being as natural as possible. And I'm telling you, it's hard because the whole food system, well, just our whole society is designed for consumerism. And if you want to consume something, it's because it's addictive, or you need it, or you can't live without it, all these things. And food is one of those things. Food is designed to be highly addictive. They have scientists that only focus on the yum factor. Like, how can we make it as yummy as possible where you want more, but you won't get sick of it? What's the perfect? And that's like, these scientists spend all their days figuring out how to get you addicted to these foods. And then these foods are what cause the illness, because these foods are not new foods found in nature that we're supposed to be eating from, where we live and our history, our ancestors, all that kind of stuff. So therein lies the problem. And they're all connected. That's what the Fiat food was talking about, right? They're all connected. The big pharma, and then the food industry, the health industry, education system, like they're all connected by the same people who want you to consume. They want you to just be buyers. They don't want you to be independent thinkers. So when I read this other book, it was specific for women going into menopause. After I read it, I'm like, oh, holy cow, I'm so on the right track with this carnivore for me. Again, remember, I'm just telling you what my story is. You can take what you need from my story and apply it to yourself, or you can just, listen to my story and be like, you go, girl. It's all good. It's all good. I'm not saying you should do this. I'm saying, here's what works for me. And so I went deeper into the carnivore because this other book is done by a doctor who specializes in hormones and women's hormones, and that's her jam. And so she's saying that when you go into menopause, part of the problem is we don't have enough healthy fats. And when you look at the fats that we're consuming, everything is a seed oil. And a seed oil is an oil that's found in nature on some sort of plant, vegetable, whatever, and then they process the crap out of it. So it doesn't even resemble what it would look like in nature. So it's been denatured, and usually it's toxic and rancid. And they put this in all the foods. And so it starts to make us sick. So we're not getting the healthy fats that we need, because our body, especially the female body, is designed to thrive on healthy fats, not processed vegetable oil, seed oils, that kind of thing. And now if you look at your label, you're going to see seed oils in everything. And so therein lies part of the problem. So as we were growing up, we were told, hey, high carb, low fat. And of course, for women, we're all about how do we stay lean? How do we be slim? How do we lose weight? We're always about the appearance, because that's what the societal constructs say about women. We have to look good. We have to remain slim, be thin. And so this whole phase of high carbs, low fats has thrown our system, our endocrine system, off, because we need the high fats. We need it. There's something called the hormonal cascade. And it's called a cascade for a reason, because it starts at the top and it flows down, and one affects the other. And the interesting thing is it starts at the very top with cholesterol. Now, cholesterol is super important in the triggering of all of your hormonal cascade. At the top is cholesterol. And then also up there is sunshine. These are all things that are found in nature. When you look at animal fats, that's the healthiest fat you can get. When you get a grass-fed, grass-finished steak, it's full of the healthy fats. And then that will give your body all the nutrients that it needs. So for decades, we as women were eating high carb, low fat, and that messes with your hormones. And then the other thing that messes with your hormones is the estrogen. So a lot of people will be told you need to go on a hormone replacement therapy. And what you're not looking at is when you were growing up, what were you doing to mess with your hormonal cycle, which is the pill. All the pill does is mess with your hormones because it's adding in more hormones. So right off the bat, as you're going through those years that are very, very critical to your development and the balancing of your hormones and the functioning of your hormones, you're introducing more hormones that throw it off balance. So that's kind of like a 1-2 punch. And then you hit menopause, and by the time you hit menopause, your hormones are already out of whack. And that's why you're getting these big, huge, symptoms of menopause that don't really naturally go with menopause. It's a modern day problem. When you look back in history, it's not a thing that happened for women back in the day. So, it's so frustrating because it feels like this is something that is self-induced, but unintentionally. Like we didn't know these things. We were just told, here, take this pill to not get pregnant, without thinking. And when I think back on it, like I have to say, I never took the pill because I was thinking about what it was, and I'm like, this is a hormone, and I'm putting a hormone into my body to it's going to change my hormonal system. This can't be good. And so I never went on the pill because I had these thoughts very, very early on in my life. But especially a lot of women take this their whole entire lives. And so you can't tell me that that's not going to affect your hormones. So we have the lack of the healthy fats, and then the additional hormones from all of the birth control that are totally messing with your system. And the answer in this book is carnivore, getting those healthy fats in, getting the grass-fed, grass-finished beef, all the natural foods that were here for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years that we've been eating, that we were raised on, that our ancestors ate. So I would just want to offer this to you. This book here, Good Fat is Good for Women in Menopause, Dr. Elizabeth Bright. This book, she totally lays it out for you, and she's going to tell you exactly all the things that I told you. I have all the, everything is just marked, and every page has something delicious and for food for thought, like, oh, I knew that, or that makes sense to me. So I would encourage everybody to read this book, and then you make up your own mind, because when I'm telling you this, you're going to be like, no way, that doesn't make sense to me. This doesn't jive with what I was taught. Of course it doesn't jive with what you were taught, because what you were taught wasn't accurate to your body being in the best alignment mentally, physically, emotionally, all of it. It was designed from consumerism and control. And so when you look at it from a different point of view, like naturally in nature, what is our body designed to do? Then this book here is going to help you. This book is going to help. And you can also watch her videos on YouTube. So if you don't want to read the book, you can watch Dr. Bright's videos on YouTube and find out just the basics of it, because I'm doing her basic thing. It's interesting because when I went carnivore, I found out really quickly that I'm lactose intolerant, and I never knew that about myself because I never really had any dairy products when I was plant-based. But when you clean your system out and it's like finely tuned, and then you add in something that has a reaction to it, it's like, look out. It's going to tell you right away. And I'm like, holy cow. In all of my years, I've never had a reaction to lactose until my system was super clean. Oh, celebrate. Woo! Until my system was super clean. And then I introduced it, and it was giving me this instant feedback. So yeah, of course it was a lifestyle change. It was a mind shift change, all of it. But for me, it's been so worth it. And I'm still in my process of reducing inflammation in my body. And I wanted to share that with you because, like I said, no matter what you're going through, the key is to get your body into homeostasis, which means it's totally balanced, because when it's balanced, there can't be illness, there can't be inflammation. And so if you're struggling with anything, even menopause, it's like, how can I balance out my body? How can I make the yin and the yang even? How can I be just more connected to the natural state of my body? And therein lies the answer. So I hope this helps you. Please, please buy this book, get it from the library, borrow it from a friend, read the book, and then let's talk. Because I feel that these two books together, Fiat Food and Good Fats, Good for Women, these are game changers. So as always, thank you for listening. Always, always, always love yourself first, and have an amazing day.